Welcome back to Hometown Magazine. This is Michael Kelly, and we're on the stage of the production of Helter Shelter, which is taking place in the Buckham Fine Arts Gallery in downtown Flint. And we're talking with David Combs, who is the stage manager of this production. David, you've been a professional for a number of years. You were in The Accidental Tourist, one of my favorite movies, so there you go. Right. Why did you come to Flint?
Well, I got an invitation from Cheryl Giannini, who was a very close friend of mine who I went to school with in Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan. And she said that she was working on a fabulous project and would my wife and I like to be involved. And I respect Cheryl so much that I said, yes, I would love to. I would like to do theater because it is my very first love. I find it's far more fulfilling than doing movies or television. Mm-hmm.
When you came to Flint, obviously you were coming for no money, so I assume your expense account was pretty lean too.
Yeah.
How did the care and feeding of the professionals who came in, how did you get taken care of?
Well, when we arrived, certain things had changed. We had we're going to be on a contract, a small theaters contract, and we were going to be at the Buckham Alley Theater. But through some complications, we were no longer at the theater. And what happened was that my wife and myself and Cheryl Giannini became the producers of the play. So all arrangements that had been made before were now off. And so what we had to do was just kind of hope that the play was successful enough that we could get some of our expenses back. And so far we've managed to pay for our transportation, so that's really pretty good. Okay. But I mean, you know, sometimes you give things up to do wonderful things, and that's...
Well, what is entailed in producing a play?
Well, in this case, because we are in an art gallery as opposed to a theater, we had to turn the art gallery into a theater, which means that we had to create a set, we had to put in lights, we had to put in sound, we had to put in risers because you can't seat everybody on the floor, they won't be able to see. We had to create a theater. And we had to create it from everything around the community, and the community of Flint is so incredibly giving and wonderful that it was not the impossible task that it could have been. We had a very short time period to do it in, and everybody just pretty much said yes, and that was wonderful. How
long were you here in town?
We got here and the play opened 2.5 weeks after we arrived. And
did you have to do the set design and all of that after you arrived, or did you have some lead time to work on it?
No. No, I got here and I found out that we were no longer in the theater, so we were in the gallery. So I came over one night with the director and designed the set. And then just kept working. Just said, okay, what do we need? Okay, we have to have a back wall, and it has to be black, and we have to have lights, and we have to get that, and you just keep going and solve problems, solve problems, solve problems. That's basically the stage manager's job.
Now, the stage manager, I've stage managed a lot. That's about all I can do these days because now I have kids, and I sort of come into last minute and stage manage. But when you're also producing, I mean, it's interesting to play the different roles because you sort of set it up coming in, and then I mean, you have to fly the plane once it takes off. What was it like stage managing in this space?
Well, it was very interesting. You talk to yourself a lot. As the producer, you're talking to yourself as a stage manager, and the stage manager talks to the producer. So people were beginning to think that perhaps I should have been on the stage as one of the crazier people. But I sit in the back there, and I run both the sound and the lights at the same time. So it's like you've got your hands out, and in case you need your nose to push a button, you've got that going too. It's quite thrilling every night. There's something new and different going on.
Well, it saves you calling cues because you're right there.
It certainly does. I was talking to myself again. Okay, Dave, turn the lights up. Okay. Okay, Dave, turn on the sound. Okay. So I just say it in my mind.
Did you ever have a bad argument with yourself over a stage decision?
Several times. That's when I started getting worried.
As the producer, have you an interest now in the development of the play as it goes forward?
Yes, I'm very interested in it. But I mean, my producing ends this evening when this play closes. Okay. There has been a tremendous amount of interest in the play. I know that there's been even a couple of television people from New York have called up wanting scripts to the play, and the Actors Theater of Louisville has called up wanting a script. And Susanna Holm mentioned that the group of churches, the Council of Churches, would like to see this play tour, and I would love to see this play tour. I think the timing of this play is perfect. It is an issue that is very much in people's minds. It's in the forefront of the public, and it should go out so that people can see what it is actually like. Because if people aren't confronted with things, then they just let them go. But if they're on the street, I mean, one of the most wonderful experiences I've had in this play is when I was sitting back there running the cues one night, and a homeless man walked in off the street in the opening of the play. And he was standing in the back watching the play, and he was kind of talking a little bit and moving a little bit along with it, you know, and he was just beginning to disturb the people. And I went and I got a chair and I put it next to me, and I went and I got him. And I brought him back and I set him next to me. And we sat there together watching the play, and he watched the whole thing, and he applauded at the end, and he loved it. And he came back 3 or 4 more times. And that was extraordinary to me. Because for that time, he was part of this production.
It's interesting about the location, too, in the downtown.
Yes.
We're going to break for a message in just a minute, but before we do, David, I wanted to ask you if, having seen the production and the development of the script and the production as well, dealing with the social issue side of it, the play doesn't clearly point to an answer. It's not propaganda. It's presenting life. Do you draw a possible answer or a possible direction from your involvement with the play?
I feel basically that it is centered in families. It's the heart of this country, and it's what's somehow is going out of this country. It's the family is the nucleus, and what we see in this shelter are broken families. People from families that something has gone wrong in the family. And to me, there must be some way, and I don't know if it is churches or if it's religion or what it is exactly. Certainly it's not government, but government can help. There's some things that government can do. They can support the family as opposed to supporting a war. And I think that is what the answer is starting back to the basics, is the family unit, and creating and supporting families, and making life be about the joy of living, and not the joy of money or the joy of destruction or the joy of being superior over someone.
That sort of connects with what Tina was saying earlier about the solution isn't going to come because a bill is passed or something happened down in Washington or Lansing quickly. It's going to take that daily
it's going to
bit
take
by bit.
Work for years. From a lot of people, it's going to take a concentrated effort. It's not, a politician is not going to run on a platform of doing it and do it. That's simply not going to happen.
Politicians can facilitate the trend, but in essence we're talking a long-term trend.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, we'll be back to talk more with the cast of Helter Shelter in just a minute.